Welcome back to the Media7 Summer Series. Since John Hawkesby departed full-time broadcasting, the face of the news has become the voice of wine. You can hear him speak of his passion for the grape on Radio New Zealand and Auckland's Easy Mix FM, and he has an increasingly respected role as a judge of wine. Nice work if you can get it. Well, Simon Pound sailed to Waiheke to find out.
Half an hour out of Auckland Central, on the island of Waiheke, lives media man John Hawkesby. He has this little vineyard, with this splendid view. And over the last few years, he's become a prominent wine enthusiast, writer and broadcaster.
Truth is, I never decided, I need to reinvent myself, I need to be a wine writer. It came about purely by chance, as sometimes these things do. So the first thing we do is clean glass. I have a look for colour. Bit of aeration's not a bad thing. Good sniff. And I'm not all over it technically. You'll never hear me mention malolactic fermentation, time on lees, acidity, residual sugar and things like that. I actually don't think that the average punter is interested. You're looking for sometimes that indefinable, the inexpressible. You just know. It's like falling in love. To describe it, to analyse it, is to destroy it. You just know.
It helps in the work that he does it himself. Hawkesby grows grapes and makes small vintages of his own wine, but more for fun than profit.
This is arguably one of the world's smallest vineyards, about 1,000 vines. So the actual cost per bottle is about $3,600. So it's very expensive landscaping is what I have here. It is an accountant's nightmare. I don't mark it out of 10. I usually go good, bad, indifferent, very good, sensational, and why I think it's sensational. The number of books that we produce in this country on wine, every aspect of wine, how to approach wine, how to drink it, how to talk about it, how to demystify the language of wine, is phenomenal. If you recommend a very good Chardonnay at, say, $22 and say, look, this is a sublime Chardonnay, punches way above its weight, and at $22 a bottle, really, it could be 60 and still be value for money. The phone does ring off the hook. Not mine, I hasten to add, but where people think they can buy that particular wine. Am I a wine snob? Of course I am. You need to be a wine snob to be obsessed with wine to the level that I am, but only in the privacy of my own home. I'm not a wine snob outside that. If I'm at a function and I go, oh, the wine is undrinkable, I won't say, excuse me, but the wine is atrocious.
So thanks for having us, John Hawkesby, a man happy in his work.
Spend less on the mag wheels and the flash TV and enjoy a better standard of wine. You'll live longer. Or something like that.
Simon Pound with that report. A kilometre in either direction from Jayson Bryant's Greyland store, the Wine Vault, are supermarkets that carry a large range of wine at cutthroat prices. There's a discount liquor store across the road. The shop could be pretty quiet a year ago, so he got onto Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Vidler and Posterous. He concludes this year as the wine trade's social media star and with business up 25%. He's with me now. Welcome, Jayson.
Thank you very much for having me.
How did this start? Did you have a strategy?
Not initially. I've been watching some crazy American guy pretty much do what I'm doing now, and I thought I could implement his strategy or his ideas and concepts over here, but solely focus on New Zealand wine. There was no one doing it, and I thought there was a gap there, and I wanted to fill that void.
Was it a matter also of saving the business? Because it's a difficult environment.
It's a very tough environment. When we bought the business, shortly after that, the recession was announced, and probably not the best kind of strategic move in buying businesses, but I thought that there had to be another way of doing business, and I'd got a passion for the internet and everything on it, and so the two seemed logical to bring together, and for me to really kind of embark on an internet kind of career.
So what did you find worked? What did you learn once you started doing it?
That everything really comes down to traditional relationships. You still need to build relationships, whether it's online or in the store. You need to forge those and cement those, and then online people will start to trust you, and then eventually they'll start to buy from you, and that was a simple kind of connection there.
Did it make a difference that you were somewhere like Grey Lynn, which is the kind of place you'd expect something like that to work? The people who drink wine and people who have internet connections, basically.
And a lot of media-friendly people, and celebrities and so-called celebrities within New Zealand. Yeah, that helped. That was inspiring. The main motivation was I was just bored with the way that the traditional wine sales were, not only in New Zealand but also in the UK, and I really wanted to change that. And the way to change that for me was online. No one knew me prior to kind of like 2 years ago, and so it was, and there wasn't anybody doing it in New Zealand. So I thought, right, I'm going to really kind of like get the bull by the horns, run with it. And it's exciting. It was new to everybody, and wine is it's a social lubricant, and social lubricants work on social media, and that was the strategy I embarked on. And so far,
the one thing that I can say, this is the best wine tasting that I ever attended to, and I've been to few, obviously, being the sommelier.
You don't need to pump me up. I've got big guns.
Well, it's actually true. I know this is hard to believe, but as a quite a wine appreciator, I wouldn't say a connoisseur.
Oh, you're a connoisseur. You're a sommelier.
I try to be.
Yeah.
No, just a manager of the busy cafe.
You've become this online identity.
We have 20% of our audience is from overseas. Canada, America, and the UK make up that 20%. Then 80% is New Zealand based. Very, very few Australians, ironically, and being that they're the closest neighbour. But within social media, it's word of mouth. And so that word is spread to the people who aren't online, and who don't see us on Twitter and social media avenues. They come and they go to winevaulttv.com, and they look, and they want independent wine reviews that we give. We try to give an honest appraisal.
Yeah, we should talk about Wine Vault TV, actually. I mean, that was quite an ambitious thing to do. Had you ever made anything like that before? Because it seems to have actually taken off.
It has taken off. It took me a year to get in front of the camera. I'm inherently shy. I don't like that spotlight, albeit I'm being a bit more comfortable with it now. But it took me a year to get comfortable talking to the camera, discussing wine, being a newbie in the industry. Kind of, I didn't want to be taken as a fake. And I just wanted everybody to know that I was very, very passionate about wine, especially New Zealand wine, taking that overseas, always talking about it, writing blogs about it, and eventually came the time when I thought I was comfortable enough to sit in front of a camera, and there's only me there. Painted Wings, and it's a white Pinot, 2009, which is, I've got to say, an incredibly early release for a Pinot Noir. You'd normally expect...
Keep your hand out of your face.
You'd normally expect a Pinot Noir to be in at least kind of French oak for 11 months, just to make way for the next kind of vintage to go in. This is released only after kind of 6 months of being harvested, so it's probably been in the bottle for at least 2 months. Where it's been before that, I have no idea. Initially I had someone behind the camera, but I felt too inhibited. And so I just locked myself away in a room with the wine, so it's just open the wine as a consumer would, pour it and taste it as a consumer would.
And it's just you talking to the camera.
And it's me talking honestly to the camera. Sometimes there's a bit of kind of personal information that I give out, but mainly it's wine focused. And I think the role is twofold. We taste wine that some people can't afford. It's not in everybody's budget, and so that segment of the audience live vicariously through us, and then we review wine that everybody can afford. And my drive and ambition is to get everybody to drink the best valued, best made wine that they can afford.
You've also had a few well-known people on as you've gone along. Quite an extensive one with John Campbell, who seemed to enjoy himself.
Hi, and welcome to Wine Vault TV, New Zealand's most passionate wine program. And today I have someone who everybody knows, and for those that don't, John Campbell went to Wellington College in
about 1643, actually just after the Battle of Hastings, about 1070 I went to Wellington College.
Welcome to Wine Vault TV, New Zealand's most passionate wine program, and today I've got a very special guest. Some of you kind of may know him from Shortland Street.
Yes.
And housewives out there, or the people who are fortunate enough to stay at home on a weekday between 7 and 9 will know him from Sunrise
TV3. Watch it.
Yeah, we had John Campbell and Oliver Driver and a Master of Wine from the UK that specifically came to the store and wanted to be on the show. That felt pretty good. That was another kind of milestone that I kind of reached, and I thought, okay, now I've got that. I've got a bit more kind of credibility that people actually want to be on the show rather than me hounding them to come onto the show. That was pretty exciting for me. That was a real kind of turn.
This week you've got Sir Robert Winston. How did that work out?
A friend of mine just texted me and said that he was in town, and it was just through that word of mouth that. Welcome to Wine Vault TV, New Zealand's most passionate wine program, and I am very, very, very honoured to have Lord, Baron, Sir, Professor, Robert Winston next to me.
Well, I drink wine anyway, so.
What would you normally be drinking at home?
Well, I drink at the weekend. I don't drink much during the week, and I would drink normally French wine.
Yeah.
Predominantly Bordeaux.
Right, okay.
My favourite area in Bordeaux is Pauillac.
Okay, yep.
But my favourite wines are good Burgundies, actually. But the trouble with Burgundy is it's quite unreliable. So that's why the New Zealand Pinots are so interesting to me, because of course you make a wine which is in some respects closer to Burgundy than any other winemaker around the world. I mean, they make Pinots in California, California, for example, Santa Barbara, so on.
Yeah.
But yours are better.
Do you think that's sort of characteristic of the social media scene? There often seems to be this exchange of goodwill. Yeah. You've done people favours. People have been prepared to do that for you.
I think right now in New Zealand, the social media scene is very, very healthy. I think it's lively. It's full of debate, and there's no malice at the moment. I think as it gets bigger, you get some subgroups and people start to get a bit cliquey. But right now, it's very, very healthy, and there is that exchange of information that people are willing to give for free, and to do favours for people. And I respect that.
You've also done some interesting things with Twitter, which is the social media platform at the moment, including tastings with people who aren't even in the same room, but they're all on the internet at the same time.
We did. We decided on a wine, and it was almost the launch of a wine. Fiasco's wine from Marlborough, and he sent everybody the wine, and we all tasted it together, and we all posted tasting notes on Twitter. All at the same time. We had to set our watches. It was almost kind of like the Secret Service. Set your watches now, and this is what we're going to do. Everybody opened it up together, poured it into their glass, and then started disseminating the information that they were.
Which more than anything else sounds fun.
Oh, it was great fun. It was really good fun, and it was really good for his brand as well. So it was huge, and we got a lot of press coverage from that. And fortunately, the wine was good, and that made the difference. And then we tried to do it on some various other occasions with other wines. Then we just had a fairly loose arrangement that it would be a Central Otago Pinot Gris. That you really need to stay focused, and that was the thing that we learned from that.
Well, speaking of staying focused, I get the impression from a couple of things you've written in your blog that you're now seeing the need to, rather than being online all the time, to also be physically in the shop. Do you think you let that drift a little bit?
I certainly did. One of the things, as I was building up the kind of Wine Vault empire within Grey Lynn online, I started to realise that people from that online community were coming into the store. So what I needed to do was redress that and really, really then start to focus on both and get some kind of level of balance. So now I work on the kind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday with the kind of our busiest times, because the customers expect to see me. So there's a trade-off. So then I work through the week doing all the social media, and we do 5 episodes a week of Wine Vault TV.
Which is extraordinary.
It's fairly easy. I get 2 bottles of wine and I taste it, and then I go home and I do minimal editing. It's all done in one take. It's all spontaneous, and I just put some titles on it and credits at the end. And so it used to take me a lot of time. Now I'm down to kind of 40 minutes to produce it.
So just finally, do you think there's a general lesson in what you've done for A, other people in the wine trade, and B, other people in the kind of specialty retail that has been finding it hard in the recession?
I think businesses that will really, really strive in the online community are the business to customer businesses, retail, hospitality. They're the ones who are going to succeed. They've got a product that they can directly engage with their community and get feedback, and they can throw it out, questions out there, and do customer surveys. They're the businesses that are really going to thrive. Business to business on social media is a little bit more difficult. You can offer it out there and get customer surveys about what people want, but you really need that customer engagement. And wine is a social lubricant that's suited to social media, and it's subjective, and it's worked very well on social media. But you could have coffee, you could have cafes. I see the next big thing on the internet is restaurant reviews, not just the written word, but video. And for me, I think that's the next big avenue.
Oh, we'll see what you get up to next year, but congratulations on 2009, Jayson.
Thank you very, very much.
And that concludes this Media7 summer series. Thanks to Alison and Simon Holst, Jayson Bryant and John Hawksby for the hospitality. We'll see you next week.